Welcome to Artists Supporting Artists. I'm Iz, an artist on a mission to speak to all kinds of people about their creative journey. On this week's episode, I speak to Jaz Hopper, a tattoo artist based in Wanaka, New Zealand. If you love a tangent, this episode's for you. Hi Jaz, welcome to Artists Supporting Artists. How are you?
Hey mate, how's it going? I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. So we'll just jump straight into it and I'll ask you the question that I ask everybody first. And that is, what does creativity look like to you?
I guess it's just expression. It's anything that makes you feel like you're expressing yourself or like you, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that's really hard because it's something different to really everyone. For me, it's expression.
What's your outlet? Obviously tattooing, but
outside of tattooing, I honestly love all crafts. My house is like the ultimate craft corner / graveyard of half-finished projects. Drawing and painting are my main ones, though, more like watercolor painting, but mostly sketching, I'd say.
Yeah, nice. And so let's just start with, where did it all begin? How did you get into tattooing? Give me your entire life story.
I've actually, so you always have to be like a little bit careful with that question because I will give you my life story.
That's fine. That's fine.
I never know quite how to answer that because it was kind of like a bit of a random one for me. But essentially, I got into tattooing when I was always quite interested in art, and I would say less drawing, painting, more like as a kid I used to draw and trace a lot of Pokemon. Like a little nerd.
Okay.
And then as I got older, I did a lot of sewing and crafting and baking, and I was always doing something creative. When I was at school, I really wanted to go do something in the arts, but there was like this big attitude of like, it's not a real job. How are you going to support yourself, etc. And I was fairly academic as well, so I kind of went down the academic route instead. I did go do like an internship at a fashion house kind of thing, and it very much put me off as well, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So it wasn't until I was doing my master's degree in science that I started kind of exploring art again, like drawing specifically as a way of like expressing myself and working through some kind of like mental health stuff that I was going in. And I just completely fell in love with it again. And it just really became my happy place and a really important outlet for me. And at that time, fine line was kind of picking up and kind of coming more into the forefront. And I was like, shit, just like drawing flowers and like, I don't know, I just loved it. So I kind of fell into it through that afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you go? Did you get an internship at a shop or like, did you just buy yourself a gun? Like what happened?
Put together a portfolio, which I don't know how I got an apprenticeship from that now, looking back, but like we learned. And I ended up being really lucky to get taken under Nathan at Holy Skin in town here. So I worked apprenticing for them, which was a really good taste for me. I think in hindsight, I was really not ready at that time, and I didn't really understand enough of kind of what goes into it. I don't know. I think I was just going through a little bit of a transition phase as well. So I got through about 6 months, and then I also really hate winter. So I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't stay here for like years and years because I don't think I can get through winter. So I ended up kind of leaving and kind of going and doing my own thing, and then kind of dabbling in kind of the self-taught route, and doing hand poke for a bit and stuff. And I got really into that, and then started kind of teaching myself to machine. It's always such like a dicey one. It's something super frowned upon in the industry, so it's always kind of challenging, I think, to talk about in this way. But my degree that I'd done previously, I'd worked in hospital and stuff quite a bit, so I had a fairly strong understanding of hygiene and stuff anyway. Eventually we moved to Australia for the sunshine. COVID hit. And then when I started up again, I went and apprenticed at a studio in the Gold Coast again and kind of went through
Yeah.
that again. Yeah. It was a bit of
So
a
cool.
crazy one. It took me a few years to get actually into it, I think,
Yeah.
but as is life, and COVID kind of throws a spanner in the works with
Oh,
those ones with most people.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
the fact that like you were always drawn back to it shows that it's right for you, you know? Like I think that's really
Yeah.
important to remember.
It's definitely one of those ones where like there were 100 barriers, and it was never something that I was like, oh, okay, I shouldn't do this then. I was
Mm,
always very much like, as soon as I started, I found kind of the industry, I was like obsessed,
yeah. That's
absolutely
good.
obsessed. Like most people, if you talk to me about tattooing, I will chew your ear off for a good hour plus straight because
That's exactly
I
what we
love it.
want here. So, you've recently, well, probably not that recently anymore, but you moved from being in a shop
Hmm.
to going full time for yourself. What was the reason behind that transition?
I was really, really lucky to have worked with Alex at Inside Tattoo
He's
for
amazing.
2 years. Yeah, he was awesome. So I was really, really lucky to be there with them for a few years before this transition through. It was such a cool environment. We just had some life stuff going on. And so we had the opportunity to work from a space. There's like a cabin out the back of our house. We essentially started trying to get pregnant. And so we
Hmm.
we're like, this will be a good way for me because then I'm not taking up space in the studio. And
Hmm.
especially if I'm not there, then that's not
Yeah.
really fair to anyone. And
Yeah.
also being at home will be easier if I'm not
Yeah.
feeling very well or if it's challenging. Unfortunately, it kind of hasn't happened for us yet. So
It will. It will.
yeah, it's one of those kind of ones. Yeah. So it's kind of, that was actually really our main reason
Yeah, that's
for
really
coming through.
nice.
Yeah.
How
But
amazing
it's
to be
actually
able to
been
have that
really good.
opportunity. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
I
really
see.
lucky too. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. You know, I see on your story you're always absolutely jam-packed with people.
Yeah,
And
it's been good.
yeah, what an amazing reason to do it. And obviously, I wish you the best luck in the world. Like I know you'll get there. And like what a great I just know how Alex is where he's actually coming on the show and I know how
Hmm.
supportive he would have been on that. And a lot of people aren't as lucky, you know, some people do hold quite a grudge when especially as an artist you'd go and say actually I want to do my own studio. Obviously you had different reasons which probably softened the blow, but like being able to have work for an artist as well, I think everybody knows how important it is for everyone to spread their own wings when it comes to their creative journey.
For me, I think it's kind of like there's different things suit different people as well. So, like, one of the things I've really found about being in my own space is it's very much like there's no one else around. So, if you are getting tattooed as well, somewhere maybe a little bit more intimate and stuff like that, I
Mm,
think that that can sometimes be a little bit more comfortable. It's also just a different vibe.
yeah.
People like different things. I would say, in terms of like, kind of sometimes I know, luckily I haven't had this, but in general, with people leaving studios and stuff, it can get a bit funky.
Mm,
I personally think that that shouldn't be a thing because you're not competing with each other. And if that's the way you see it, then you need to work on your own stuff a little bit.
a hundred
Just
percent.
because, like different people will appeal to different things. And I think
Yeah.
that that's something really beautiful about tattooing these days is there is something for everyone out there. And I think that's really magic. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm really lucky to have an awesome community of other female tattooers in town.
Yeah.
We often talk about the fact that like we feel so lucky to have this community of women who, while unlike one of them who does hand poke, the other three of us all do fine line. But because we
Hmm.
do such different things of fine line, we get to really, and even if we didn't, it doesn't really matter, I think. But
Yeah.
we get to like celebrate and support each other, which is really cool. Yeah.
Which is the whole point, and that's the whole point I'm doing this, you know, to celebrate people,
Mm.
to lift people up, and to show that we aren't competition, we're supporters, and everybody has their own struggles when it comes to like you know, going up in the ranks. And if you ever were able to open your own studio, you would understand the hardship and the difficulty and how much you need to support, like you needed that support. So then why wouldn't you transfer that onto somebody else, you know?
I think in general it's that thing like if I'm not getting work, that's a me problem. It's not anyone else's problem.
Yeah.
So, and I think in general, like life's hard. Like
Mm.
why wouldn't like we should be supporting each other, especially in things like the arts.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
it's
And
not always easy.
no, and it's such a small
Yeah.
community, really. Especially when you dial it down to tattooing and then tattooing in Wanaka. There's not much wiggle room. And yeah, just keeping the peace and staying supportive because the people who don't support are the ones that stick out like sore thumbs. They're the ones that people think are a bit like, oh God, like, could you imagine somebody's reputation? Like they would think that it would boost them up and get them more clientele, but actually it probably does the complete opposite.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in general, I'm really lucky and really fortunate to have a
Yeah.
really good community, not just in Wanaka, but in the greater scheme of things within tattooing.
Mm.
There's some really amazing people, especially through New Zealand and Australia, but worldwide that are, yeah, we try and support each other, and I think we're really fortunate for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. I think we're just being creatives, we're all just so sensitive that we're all just like, we're just big bundles of love, aren't we? So, what have you found has been your most freeing part of now, like tattooing and kind of creating your own path and, creating your own studio and whatever? Like, what do you feel has been, yeah, the most freeing for you?
I think for me, I really feel like myself in this environment. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's been kind of the most amazing. I would say it's like kind of twofold. The most amazing part in terms of feeling for myself would be feeling like this job, I guess, really. So I would call catering more of a lifestyle than a job,
Yeah.
but it feels like home to me. Like it
Yeah.
makes me, it's a space where I feel like I can be me, and that's really, really beautiful. I'm not trying to, yeah, make myself smaller or fit into a box that doesn't fit. I also think it's the most incredible feeling, and it gives me a lot of esteem being able to help people to either express themselves or to help them with something. Because it's not like tattoo, I mean, you can tattoo yourself, but it's pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
Can I swear on this?
Yeah, you can swear,
Oh
that's
my god.
fine.
I was like, oh
No, you're fine.
no. I just sweat like a sailor, so I'm like, was trying not to so hard.
No, 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 swear away. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm like, think it's just such like a gift as well to be able to, like, you can tattoo yourself. It's pretty hard, and it may not come out the way you want.
Mm,
So being able to kind of like help facilitate people to either feel more comfortable in their own skin, or maybe celebrate something, or grieve something, or whatever is just like also just such an incredible feeling to be able to help facilitate that. And I think
100%.
that for me is also gives me a lot of esteem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I can't imagine the feeling. I bet because I'm sure you hear so many different stories of like why people are getting this tattoo and stuff, and just that
Yeah.
human connection is something that, is lost slightly a bit more now due to social media and due to, the internet.
Yeah.
And having that contact with somebody in person, but and then also having that contact of like learning their story a little bit and like I can, that just seems like amazing. And I feel like
Mm.
you would be the perfect person that I would definitely like confide in as to why I was getting a tattoo. You do just make everybody just feel so comfortable.
I honestly see it as like the most incredible privilege. Yeah.
Mm,
Luckily for all my clients, I have a shit memory, so I very rarely remember afterwards. But it is an incredible, incredible privilege. Yeah. It's
yeah,
something
and I
that
guess
I love, really, really love. Yeah.
yeah. And I guess like when you're in the zone and somebody's talking to you, you're kind of just like, because you're like, yes, yeah, and blah, blah, and pitching in, but also because you are concentrated, I guess it's a bit like therapy for them because, you you're so
Yeah.
into what you're doing, you just forget about it afterwards.
Honestly, I just most have a really bad memory, I think, which is really annoying. But yeah, I think tattooing's like slightly a kind of, I was thinking about them when you're talking, like a slightly different art medium in that it's when I tattoo, it's not really for me, it's for someone else, whereas my own art is quite a different thing.
Yeah.
So I guess like I was thinking about that and I was like, I guess tattooing can kind of be split into two different realms of stuff. And one would be like stuff for myself, which would be more flash or art I would create outside of tattooing. And there is a me component in there. And then the other side of it is being a facilitator for that other stuff. So
Providing
it's
a
a really
service.
cool, yeah. And also, I don't know, it's a really cool job and that it has like many facets kind of to it, which is, yeah, really awesome.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. The way you explain it is just so amazing because I think there is, not the kind of the skepticism around tattooing is getting better, and a lot of people are becoming and coming around to more of the idea of tattoos, getting tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
hiring people with tattoos and whatever. But being able to, because I feel like you very much take it back to what tattoos were traditionally, which was taking a moment of time
Your
and
stories or,
sharing
yeah.
that with somebody else. And I think there has just been this like haze put over it of it's for ruffians and all of these things, and you'd never want to take them back to your mother, and
Yeah.
actually like that's evolving so much now. Like I feel even 20 years ago, if you thought about walking into a tattoo shop, it's like, and a lot of them still are, but like heavy screamo music, like these guys that like come up from like the
Scary.
rats, yeah, and like super scary. Whereas like now you're just in a little cabin with your flowers and your cup of tea.
Little bickies on the side in case
Yeah.
anyone wants any. And I would say the direction tattooing has gone for a lot of people, and kind of where I stand within tattooing is quite different to the other realm.
Hmm.
Ironically, I really love metal music,
Yeah.
which is always like such a funny one for me. But like I get scared sometimes going into
Mm.
tattoo studios. So I think that was one of the things that like I was always obsessed with tattoos growing up. And I would hop on the family PC and look up Two Hands Studio in Auckland and
Hmm.
what was happening there and stuff like that. It wasn't until kind of like Seventh Day and some of the people in that realm started kind of pushing through this more slightly delicate,
Hmm.
I think like slightly softer angle of tattooing that I really was like, holy, like, dang,
You can say
this is
shit. That's
cool.
fine.
I know I'm trying so hard. I keep going to moderate it. So I'm not being professional. Honestly, it's so bad normally as well. But yeah, I think like one of the things that really drew me through is that it felt like the industry opened up for women,
Yeah.
and not just like a specific type of woman, but for there was a place for a lot of women like myself who also maybe wanted to be like preschool teachers
Yeah.
or whatever. And I think that that's awesome because it was very male driven before. And I know that that's something that a lot of people have had trouble with, especially kind
Hmm.
of the older, more traditional, bikey kind of ones.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's rad,
Yeah.
obviously.
a
But
hundred
yeah,
percent.
I think like it's inclusion, it's a bit more equity again, like, and also like there's just more options.
Yeah, and it's
It's
like,
not just like a scary, you get what you're given, sit down,
yeah,
shut up, slap it on you, piss off. Like, I think
yeah,
it should
yeah,
be an
yeah,
experience and like kind of a celebration. So,
yeah,
yeah.
100%. Like, there's that thing of like everyone says, "Oh yeah, but does your tattoos have a meaning?" And I think when it comes from, it's like, well, it doesn't
It's
need
like
to.
that meme of like, means I had a spare $200 and a spontaneous
Literally,
idea. Yeah, 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 yeah.
literally. But it's like, that's it meant something right there and then. It meant
Yeah.
something there and then, and it's very much there was like this whole thing of like, what is that gonna look like when you're older? Blah blah. I'm gonna look badass when I'm older.
Do you know
I'm
what
gonna
I
look
would
like I've
say?
lived a life.
I actually had a client come back to me and was like, my partner heard you say this in the studio once and now repeats it all the time, which I was like, fuck me, like what a legacy. I always say, I'm gonna look like a bloody wrinkly ball sack when I'm older anyway, so at least I'm gonna
Yeah,
look like a fun decorated one. Like,
Literally. Like, who cares?
It's like,
Why?
fuck,
Why is it so
I'm gonna have
serious?
bigger problems. I also love the look of aged tattoos though. Like I was really lucky when I was apprenticing in Australia in
Mm.
my second round, when I was trying to get into machining, which I kind of went back to because I was like, I haven't really said before, but I was kind of getting really into hand poke, and then I was
Mhm.
like, I'm wanting it to look literally perfect. Like I'm such a perfectionist, and I was like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Why am I just not going to use a machine? So I went back. So lucky to have an incredible studio and like made some amazing friends there. Um, like big shout out Zara, Ryan, and Dane and
Yeah,
Tom. Thanks,
awesome.
guys. You guys are legends.
I actually just got tattooed by Zara.
Did you?
Yeah. I've still got my second skin
I
on.
love Sarah.
Uh,
She is the best. Like
yeah.
afterwards, you have to give me a proper show with it.
Yeah, I will.
How cool is she though?
Yeah, she's so good. She's so good.
She's actually the one that got me into metal music.
Oh, really? I'll tell her that. I'll see her
Yeah.
later.
She always used to play like little bits, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is cool," and then I just went full down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no.
when I was working at the pub when I was apprenticing as well, so I worked in the pub in the evenings and stuff. I saw a lot of old boys with like 30-year-old tattoos, 20, 30, 40-year-old tattoos, and I think they're so cool.
So
Like
cool.
they're so cool. Also, like that tattoo has been through that person's life with them.
Yeah.
And I just think that's sick. Like, I love that. It's
Yeah.
very
Well,
much a part of them, and I
mm,
think that's really cool. And yeah, I don't know, I love it. It's fun.
well, we're gonna go through this life getting scars anyway, so we may as well make them look cool.
Plus, they're kind of like little postcards of your life as well, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, why
Nobody
not?
gets out of life completely scratched free.
Yeah,
But this is
some more
like,
than others.
yeah. But like, it's very much like, why not just decorate yourself? I like to think that we're all like walking
Yeah,
canvases.
that's what I reckon. It's just art collecting, really. And that's the thing that I think is really cool nowadays about tattooing, is it's very much about like art collection, which
Hmm.
I'm real here for. I've been tattooed, fortunately. I've been able to be tattooed by some really incredible people, and yeah, I think it's really special, man. I'm really thankful that the world has become more accepting of being tattooed and stuff.
Mm.
It's yeah, a very different world these days.
Yeah.
And I still get a lot of people saying like, shit, I'm so scared to tell my mum or whatever, which is really common. And I'm always like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
But
I was
yeah,
pretty
it's a
well,
different world. I'm
I
into it.
told my mum before I got it, my first one. I was over in Thailand and like she was like she knew she couldn't do anything about it. Like at least I had told her before, like I'd and then the second I still had like 6 weeks left of my trip. The second that I saw her, she was like, "Let me see it, let me see it." And like I didn't,
Let's go.
yeah, slowly pulling up my top to show my ribs, and it was just like. But now, like I got tattooed by Zara literally 4 or 5 days ago, and I just rang mum, and the only reason why I probably told her was because it's a rock of where we live, like it's a rock
Yeah.
on the beach and it's my favorite beach and because and she loved it obviously because it's like a memory and I try and get
Mhm.
tattooed in most countries that I go to because that's another little collection
Mhm.
and I saw this reel the other day and this girl she had like a full like sticker sleeve and it was like little blank canvases
Oh yeah,
on
I've
her
seen the
arm
one. Yeah.
and then she just like does temporary tattoos like in them like genius.
So like, but like, how cool is this though? Because like, there's so many different ways of like expressing yourself or having fun in your own skin, and like, I don't know, I love it. Like, I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. And even like, I was the first, I mean, my uncle got a tattoo when he was really young and hid it from my nanny and granddad, for years, I'm pretty sure. And so I was like the first one to get a
Yeah.
tattoo. And then like
since me, my dad's got a tattoo now, and my mum told him like like they never would, but like she'd divorce him. Like there's no way.
She's
And
like,
then
no.
yeah, not having it. I'm not having a tattooed man. They've been together for like 36 years, married, and it was just like she was like, I'm not having a husband with a tattoo. You're not ruining your skin. And then he got it, and it was all about her and my brother and I and everything.
True.
And I don't even think she notices it anymore.
Honestly, you don't. Like, after a while, you just don't really see them either, I think, because they kind of just
Mm,
become part of you.
yeah.
It's so funny though. So my first one I got was like this very not amazing one in um, Edinburgh. It was very much like sit down, get it on. I couldn't even see it. It was wild.
Oh,
I had a little cry afterwards because I was a little bit of shock from it. It wasn't
oh
like
no.
bad. It was just wasn't like, oh, okay. Um, but my mum was like, well, you should have thought about it more, My mum's very supportive, I would like to say, in general, and like a
Yeah.
very open woman. Um, but she didn't really say too much. But yeah, she was definitely like, oh, okay. My second one, it took me a few years to get tattooed again after that. And
Yeah.
I got tattooed by this wonderful woman she was in Auckland. She had a studio up there. She was at Seventh Day at the time, Minnie. And it's these flowers on the back of my arm.
Oh yeah, nice.
That experience was one of the ones that made me want to become a tattooist, because I
Wow.
was like, this is like a normal woman. She made me
Mhm.
feel so, so safe, and like getting tattooed is really vulnerable. So she made me
Yeah.
feel like very safe, and like I just had such an amazing experience with her at the time. In any case, I got it, and my mum was kind of like, oh, I don't know. Came home. I was like, Mum, I'm gonna get a tattoo, and she said, it's your body, Jasmine. You're an adult. Do what you want. And I came home and she went, oh, it's quite nice, isn't it, actually? She was like, oh, actually quite. She was like, it's actually really cute. She's like, oh, wow, it's really incredible. Since then, I've tattooed my mum a bunch of times.
Really? Oh my God, that's so cool. Okay, I need my mum to watch this episode.
Yeah.
Because I keep telling her that we need to get like, we keep joking with my nanny that we're going to get like matching tattoos.
Yes.
And
I love little things like that. I'm such a
yeah,
stickler.
and she was like, oh, I'll do it because your granddad will never see it. And I was
I'm
like,
so
sure,
Dan.
yeah, sure, why not? And like the second tattoo, again, it took me a couple of years to have another tattoo. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it was my orca. And you know Chelsea, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was Luna Tattoo.
I
Yeah.
love Chelsea.
She was
She's
in
incredible.
so she was in England, like she was working in my hometown. So
True,
that's where I
yeah.
got her. And then I started following her on Instagram, and then I saw that she was in Wanaka, and I was like, mind blown. Anyway,
Chelsea is also like, this is the thing, like, I've been so fortunate, not just women but men as well, but I've been so fortunate to work with some really incredible humans,
hmm
particularly those some really incredible women in the industry doing some really amazing things. Chelsea is just like Zara and Chelsea, like Chelsea's another one of them that's just such an awesome, supportive woman.
yeah.
And she just does such cool art. Like, I'm lucky enough to carry one of my favorite ones by Chelsea here.
Oh
And
yeah.
she's cool. She's very good friends, and yeah,
Yeah. So we
big fan. How funny
so
though, I saw her.
yeah. So I was like, I said to mum, like, okay, I want to get my orca. Like, I love orcas. They're, my pride and joy. And I was like, I've thought about it. And she was like, give it 6 months. Give it 6 months. And if you still want it, you can get it. God, I actually forgot about that. So yeah, I waited to,
My mum did
I
a
was
year
like,
at first. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
fine.
was like 19 years old, bearing in mind. And maybe actually, no, I was 20, I think. I was 20 because I had blonde hair, I remember. Yeah, I was 20, almost 21. And my mum was like, give it 6 months. So I did. And I said, why don't you come with me to, just to see how it goes?
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, cool. So I took her with me. And honestly, she was holding my hand tighter than I was holding hers.
That's so cute. That's
Honestly.
so cute. I also
Honestly.
love it when people's like, if they want them there, they're like mums and stuff like that come, or like
hmm
grandparents. Do you know the amount of grandmas I know that have like gotten tattooed or that I've tattooed? And I'm like, shit, yeah, get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, if you were born in this kind of day and age, they'd be covered. And I love
Yeah.
that they're still going and doing it now. Like, or that mum went with you and she was like more nervous than you. Or I think that's so wholesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I
And I'm
love it.
still trying. Like, I'm still trying to persuade her to get a tattoo. Maybe when I come home from Australia and I'm like at home for a longer period of time, I'll be like, look, this is going to be my welcome home present.
So yeah,
To show how much you're excited that I am home, you need to get a tattoo. And
honestly,
that's what it's going to
I
be.
think like generational ones too are really cute. Yeah,
Yeah.
really cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like my mum, I don't know if my mum would have gotten any really if it wasn't for me being a tattooer. I think she's
Mm.
also just like one of my biggest cheerleaders as well. So that's part of it probably too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's a lot of things in our lives that our parents would have never have done if it wasn't for us.
Yeah, very
I
much so.
don't think, because my brother and I, we used to watch LA Ink. You know, LA Ink.
Hmm.
So we used to watch that so much growing up. So my parents knew. They knew we were going to
Yeah.
be getting tattoos. And then dad was very much on board and everything like this. But like, a couple of years ago, not even a couple of years ago, maybe last year or something, I took my dad and put him on a skateboard for the first time.
Yes,
I'm now,
sick.
yeah, like when we move, because we're moving to Scotland in a few years' time. When we move there, I'm getting my dad on a snowboard. And it's just stuff that they would
Yes.
have never have done if they just didn't have this like ridiculous child.
Yeah. I honestly love it. It's so funny though. I would say almost like my family's like the opposite. I grew up like very outdoorsy. I did
Mm,
my main thing in high school was I just did a lot of sports. Like
hmm
again, how did no one know I had ADHD? Like that was crazy. We did a lot of sports. And both my parents are kind of the same.
mm.
So like we would go out and they would be the ones taking me out. They'd be like, we're going motorbike riding, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're going, and I'd be like, I just want to sit in the car and crochet, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
so good.
so it's more they dragged me out from all
Yeah.
things, I think.
Yeah, I think actually, well, growing up, I was very much like my parents are also very outdoorsy people. My dad used to be in
Yeah,
the army, so he was like trying to get us out
yeah.
as much as possible. But yeah, my brother and I were just like, we just want to play guitar. Like, we just want to
Yeah,
sit
it's so
inside,
funny.
play guitar, and then like I started like painting, so and then that's all I really wanted to do.
Yeah,
And like it was like
same,
just take
yeah.
the dogs for a walk, just take the dogs for a walk, and I'm like fine, I'll go take the dogs for a walk. And now I'm like I'm outside all the time. I live in my bloody van for Christ's sake. Like this
I
is my
love
friend's
that,
bedroom.
man.
So like
Yeah,
and I cannot it's like crack to me. I cannot not be outside.
yeah, dude.
And it's just funny how like it all changes because like I'm really lucky as
I
well.
know.
My dad, like we come from a really musical family, but also my dad is an
Hmm.
amazing artist. So I grew up with that as well.
Yeah,
He could be an artist if he wanted to, and he just like does
yeah,
little doodles like that. That's me done for a year. Um,
yeah.
and so whereas my mum, she used to have to get her friends to do her bubble writing at school. She can't. She's
So funny,
yeah,
eh?
she can't. But yeah, so I was really lucky to like be
Grow up with
brought
that.
up, yeah,
Yeah,
brought up in an environment where I was like, just try everything, you know?
same. Dude, like, what a privilege is that though? Like,
Yeah, a
I
hundred
think about it
percent.
now and I'm just like, it doesn't matter what I did. My parents were both like, yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Like, yep, sick, do it. And like, they sacrificed so much so that my brother and I could try everything. And no matter how stupid it was or like whatever, they were always like, yeah, sick, all good,
yeah,
you know? Like, I
yeah,
think that's so cool that you had that too. Like, it's such
yeah,
a privilege. And like, even now, my brother he's starting to kind of learn to tattoo, which
cool.
I like love.
Yeah,
But they're just like, yeah, cool.
yeah,
There's no like, oh, I don't know, like whatever. They're just like, cool. If that's what you want to do and that makes you happy, like sweet. Like we're really fortunate to have them and have that attitude in our family with things.
yeah.
Funnily enough,
We,
my mum would say that she was like your mum and wouldn't be able to do that. But my mum is actually also very creative
yeah,
as well. My uncle is like incredibly like artistically creative. And
hmm
so I think she was always like, no, that's his stuff, not
that's
my
his
stuff, which
thing.
is
Yeah,
probably what I did with my own brother growing up, to be fair too,
yeah,
because I was always like, oh, he's the art one, I'm
yeah,
the smart one, whatever kind of thing. But
yeah,
both my parents are also creative in their own ways.
I've always said how lucky we are to have like our parents. Like my brother, he owns his own business, but he's in a band and he's like, just wants to be a
Yeah.
rock star, and like I'm traveling and becoming an artist, and
Yeah, good on you.
I went everywhere and did everything, and I tried all sorts of stuff, and my parents were just like, yeah, these are our kids, like
And like,
they're not going to be
you know
doctors
that
and
like
lawyers, but
I mean, my parents got close with me. I almost got
yeah,
to be a dietitian, and then I was like, "See ya." It gives me goosebumps like hearing that, because I think that that's so special, and like we
yeah,
are, yeah,
so
incredibly
lucky.
privileged. Yeah, very
Yeah,
much so.
so lucky.
Yeah, it's so funny. My family is not musical at all, though, and it's the one thing I wish that we were a little bit.
Mm,
My grand this is total side, like not even
carry on.
related to it at all. Different cut, but my grandfather and my mum really wanted us to be able to play an instrument.
Mm,
My grandfather was like, my mum's dad, Tony, was like our biggest supporter ever, both of us kids and my mum and everything. So he was like, I'll help them to get a keyboard so that they can learn. And so, like, he also bought me my first sewing machine, and he taught me how to
mm,
sew as well. And
nice.
I guess actually there's a long stream of, yeah, fashion stuff in my family. But we got the keyboard, my mum set it up, and my brother and I played in the box for the next week. She had to throw it out because she was like, your grandmother's just bought this flipping keyboard and you guys are rolling each other over and down hills in a cardboard box. You haven't even touched the piano, like keyboard.
Oh my God.
No,
Amazing.
we were just not made to be there.
So good. That's so
So
good.
ridiculous.
But again, that
So
just
ridiculous.
shows like, because hopefully all kids imagined a cardboard box being a car or something, and that just proves your
Yeah,
creative imagination, you know.
yeah. We also grew up though, like my mum had this like massive book of like 101 rainy day activities and stuff. So my
Mm,
mum was also always doing like baking with us or doing crafts with us or
yeah,
getting us to make princess hats or anything. So we grew up with a lot of that too, I think, which probably fed
yeah,
into things. But yeah,
yeah.
it's funny. Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
so good. I think
Bit of
like
a tangent, but yeah.
no, but to be honest, like I love a tangent. I love a tangent because it's just
Honestly, anyone from real life knows that I also love a tangent.
yeah, it gives more context. And this is so we have this phrase in my
I love a
family.
backstory.
Yeah, we have this phrase in my family, and it's now Dom, my boyfriend, loves to use it because I am the
Mm.
epitome of this saying. But so there's a town, like there's a small village outside my town called Loddiswell, right? And
Hmm.
my great grandpa used to say, "You've gone to Hong Kong to get to Loddiswell," and it's like yes. And now Dom uses it all the time. He's like Hong Kong, Hong Kong, Hong Kong, and I'm like, but it's the context.
I'm also going to take that one then because I
Yeah,
think that's so great, and that is same. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like we've spoken in real life before, and we both know what each other's like in
yeah.
general. But love it. I love it though. Like I love a backstory. Like what did we start off with? I don't know.
Yeah,
Tell me more though.
who knows? Yeah, exactly. Like that's where the gold is. That's
It's
where the
fun.
person is. Yeah,
Yeah, same. That's what I reckon too. I don't know.
yeah.
I just love talking though. So.
See, and that's I think like I feel like tattooists. That kind of like the way that hairdressers are perceived. Like you go to the hairdressers and you tell them all your problems. Like I feel like that's what now that tattooing is becoming more of a female industry as well. Like it's just like go like may have needed a hug, got a tattoo instead.
It's so funny. I think it's just like a really cool experience in a lot of ways. And it's so funny though, because it is becoming quite female dominated, but there's
Mm,
also a lot of guys that are like that as well. Like I've got this friend, Ollie, and he tattoos out of Melbourne, I think, at the moment. And he's very much the same as well though. Like the chats he'll have with his clients, and like I've tattooed with him before, like he was in the bay next to me, and
hmm
me, him, and our clients were all bouncing off each other the whole time, and it was so much fun. Like
hmm
it was just such a good time as well. So there were also a lot of guys doing this as well. So I never want to be like it's just females, but
No.
I digress. But I think it is like I think it's cool. I went to flipping Hong Kong again,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I think it's really cool, and it's like I always think like if you've got something going on, like think about whether you do want to put that on your skin at that moment because it will be a reminder of that thing.
Yeah.
But also it's expression. It makes you feel more at home in your own skin, and these are our stories, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah.
100%, 100%. So now you've moved into your own studio and everything, and obviously with your life struggles around that, that's there's been struggles in that, but
Mm.
with have you found any struggles creatively or not being around other people? Have you felt that way?
I definitely think I had in actually one of the girls in town last week,
Mm,
one of the other tattooers in town, Mishka. She's awesome. We have shared like very similar philosophies with tattooing and stuff. Um, and she's worked privately previously, and now she's gone back to a studio because she's traveling more.
hmm
And we were just talking about like there's really strong pros and there's really strong cons.
hmm
The pros for me is that I really love being in my own space and not having to worry that my clients might feel uncomfortable or whatever, particularly if they are getting tattooed, obviously somewhere more vulnerable.
hmm
And that it is like a very relaxed environment. Like, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want some biscuits?
Yeah,
Do you want a
yeah,
snack? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
take a bouquet home with you afterwards. Because my side obsession is gardening, you know. But so that sense the pros are really good. Financially, also the pros are really good, especially considering we have been through quite a rough past year. Just like emotionally, I haven't always been super up to creating new work and stuff like
hmm
that. And my husband also had a paragliding accident at the end of last year.
God.
Yeah, crazy. He's doing really well now, but
Okay,
he had
good.
a broken pelvis and
Wow, bless him.
chip in his spine and a whole bunch of stuff. So he was literally immobile, not able to do anything. So working at home I was so incredibly thankful
Yeah,
that we were at home, especially because it was a crazy time. Sam had
yeah.
the accident. We're in hospital. We got back. The dog got attacked and almost killed. Like, so I had the two of them laid up inside the house. So being at home was a
A lifesaver.
blessing. Holy shit! Because either I could pop out and just say to my client, like either in between clients, or I'd just say to my client, like, is there if I just go check on them? They were obviously all chill. I have the most incredible clients
Mm,
ever. I'm so fortunate. So I could check on him and make sure they were okay and make them food. And so the last year, the pros have really outweighed anything.
hmm
Um, and even as Sam recovered, he could get in his little wheeler and like his daily walk would be to walk down the path to the little cabin and
hmm
come say hi, have a chat. And it meant that he was also able to get some social time
hmm
as well as me being present and able to help them both as well.
Yeah.
Um, big pros. The cons are I really miss having coworkers as well.
Mm,
I miss like the studio was awesome to work at. I had so much fun up there.
yeah.
Like it's just so much fun being around other artists as well. Um, I definitely miss that social kind of side of it.
hmm
And also just like working at home, I don't really like leave home very much, which can be
Yeah.
quite a lot sometimes. Yeah, like I get
Yeah.
cabin fever, especially my little studio is quite small. One day,
hmm
obviously, hopefully we'll have a nice big space, but for now it is on the smaller side.
hmm
Um, so it's more like challenges like that. But hopefully one day we'll have something a little bit bigger. But for now, it has been, yeah, really, really good. But yeah, but Chelsea left and went back to the UK for a bit anyway. So she's not there anyway. So I can't work with her anymore. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard, but one day.
Yeah. And
For
would
now,
you
it's been good.
ever like, yeah, I mean, like, thank God, thank God you were able to do that and not have to take any time off of work. You were still
But
able
it's
to make
also like,
money.
it's like not only time off work, but also like, it's that thing too where you feel like shit, like I'm still taking a bay. And even though in tattoo studios we like rent beds essentially, so you pay
hmm
like a commission to the person that owns the studio. So we are still self-employed. Um, so you pay depending on the studio, it could be anywhere between a good rate would be like 30% and a quite shit rate to be honest, or if you're new it might be 50% you give to
Mm,
the owner of your studio.
hmm
So that also means for the person owning the studio, like for Alex, that meant he wouldn't have gotten
Yeah.
money towards rent and bills and stuff like that
Yeah.
either, which would have been really hard, and I would have been taking up the space not otherwise used for a lot of time.
hmm
So it has felt good in that sense that I think I would have felt quite guilty
Yeah.
otherwise, whereas it
Yeah.
has allowed me to take off a lot of time, which has just been, especially with Sam's accident and stuff, which was just crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. God, what a year you've had.
Oh, mate, we had we had a year. Yeah, we had a year. But
God.
tattooing has really been, yeah. just a godsend through it. It's my favorite thing in the world. So it's
I
been
love
really
that.
good.
I love that.
Yeah, really,
So,
really good.
right, we've come to our quick fire question.
Hit
So,
me.
like, just like first thing that pops into your head. So, I mean,
That's so
you're
dangerous,
pretty
but
good. Yeah, I was about to say, God, I think this
could be random, but
yeah. Okay, so what's one tattoo that sticks in your mind that you've done that's one of your favorites?
it's such a hard one. Like, definitely, like mind goes blank kind of thing because I'm quite bad at thinking of these things. I think it's so hard though too because I've done so many that I love for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did one of my friend Emma on her leg that I love because it was a piece that I was really excited to do, and I really love Emma. And I just had a really fun time with her. And then I've done others where I've been really privileged to tattoo people after they've like lost someone, and so
Mm.
I there's like all these tattoos that come out for me, and it's really hard to pick one because there's so many different reasons why I love them all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to pick just one sometimes.
That's fair enough. Okay, and what is a tattoo that you are just so sick of doing? Like one particular style, one particular design?
Yeah, I would say that one's a more challenging one, and less so like in terms of my brain blanking out. More so in that I don't really think I get that sick of things. I don't know, like people's reasons for getting different things. Yeah,
And I feel
I
like
love
people
like the
come
little
to
like
you,
Pinterest, like a lot
yeah,
of tattooers will shit on like Pinterest tattoos and shit like that.
yeah,
I'm like, I love them. Like,
yeah.
get
That is
fucked.
very
I think
much
it's
your
cool. Like,
style, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just think like also it's not for me to,
To judge.
yeah, because like
Yeah.
that's something for them that makes my tattoos make me feel more at home in my skin.
Hmm.
So that person's tattoos make them feel more at home in their own skin.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
I'm
does
sure
make a
that
lot
there's
of sense.
something that I'll be like,
I
but
think like people who work in like more commercial studios that maybe are like you kind of
yeah.
pick the one out of the book and it's like, you know, in the like 90s or whatever, it would be like a tramp stamp or like a dolphin or something.
Dude,
Like,
I actually want a little blue dolphin tat so badly though, like old 90s one. I had
yeah,
a babysitter that had one, and it was like one of the first tattoos I ever saw, and I've always wanted one since. I keep
so
forgetting
good.
to get it though. But yeah, I think that it's also probably, if anything for me was like a bit, I don't know, I don't really get that bored. I also, if something doesn't resonate with me, I'll refer them to someone else. Like
Yeah,
if I don't think I'm interested or I'm not going to do a good job of it, I'll be like, you should maybe try this artist because they like doing that, and they're going
yeah,
to do a better job than me because they're going to be more into it. So
yeah.
there's nothing really, I think, massively that I'm like, ah,
Yeah, it's good.
yeah,
That is good. Okay, and the last one
yeah.
is what is next for you? What are we expecting to see from you?
I think at this point we're probably just continuing on as we are. Obviously, like we have a lot of stuff going on in our personal lives, which
Hmm.
I think is kind of like putting work on the back burner a little bit for us
Yeah.
at the moment. So it really depends on what happens with treatment and stuff like that.
Hmm.
For the moment, though, honestly, I would like to just keep pushing what we're doing, like what I'm doing. My big thing for this year for me is I feel like I just said me myself in most ways I could then, but
Okay.
is trying to be more confident with my own art and my own flash work. I often don't finish my work because that last quarter for me is really hard to finish. And I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. And then I'm like, this would be really cool though. And I never finish it. People are like, where's your flash? I'm like, oh, I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
So finishing my flash, but also being more confident with my own art. Often I get, as artists, I think everyone does anything in whatever creative realm it might be, and will be able to resonate with feeling a little bit self-conscious about putting yourself out there, because your art is obviously a representation of you as well.
Hmm.
And I would definitely say I have massive imposter syndrome through and through. And so, like with my own art. And so it's very much like trying to be confident enough to put some of that out there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Explore some
good.
new styles that I'm really into, and yeah.
Yeah.
Be more confident in my own art, I guess, is the, if
Amazing.
we
And
didn't
I
go to
think
Hong Kong and
everybody
back,
should
that's
feel
what I would
that
have
way.
said.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like everybody should feel that way, you know. I think everybody
Yeah.
can take a note out of that book. I think everyone needs I'm such a perfectionist, and I can't,
Man, so
things
bad.
can't be finished, and it's just like, actually just put it out there because it's still yours, you know.
And this is why I think, Izzy, like, it's so cool that you're doing what you're doing because I know that you are like that as well.
Mm,
And it's such a hard thing to do. So I think, like, massive props to you, man. Like, that's
thank
huge.
you.
Like, good on you for, like, doing the thing and putting it out there because it is fucking hard.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
Yeah, I
really
appreciate
hard.
it.
Yeah.
Thank
It's,
you.
yeah. Like I said, with tattooing, it's slightly different because when it's for other people, it's customs,
Mm,
it doesn't really feel like my art as much. So I can have
mm,
more of like a step back and view it a bit easier. It's just when it's my own personal stuff, I feel like I'm too close to it sometimes, which makes it kind
yeah,
of hard.
yeah, 100%. 100%.
And my other
Well,
thing is I
thank
should
you.
probably post on my actual social media.
Yeah, you
But I
need to.
never ever do that. I always forget.
Yeah,
Like I posted like 6 tattoos last year or something. It's so bad.
that's
To
so
anyone
fun.
out there, it's not that I don't like your tattoo, it's just that I forget to post.
Do it. I know the other day I made this whole post about how I put my prints up online and then I just forgot to do it. And
Do they? It's so funny.
it was like, I've got 101 things to do, and the one thing that's going to make me money, I didn't do.
My brain is like herding cats. It is herding cats up there. They're going everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And that's
Chaos.
just
But
what
yeah,
happens
props
with
to you,
being
dude.
creators. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much for
yeah,
being on the
massive props to you.
show.
You're
I
so
really
welcome, mate. I hope that
appreciate
all
it.
sounded okay.
Yeah,
Feel
you've
free
done
to
amazing.
redo anything you want because,
No, you've been
yeah, we love a
amazing.
tangent. But
Thank you
you're
so
so
much for
welcome. Thank you
joining
very much
me.
for having me on as
Thank
well.
you.
All right,
Take
catch
care.
you, dude.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
one.
Another huge thanks to Jazz for being on the show. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed filming it, even if we did go a little bit off topic sometimes. Episodes of Artists Supporting Artists come out every Tuesday on YouTube and Spotify, so make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss an episode. Thank you, love you, bye! Mwah!